Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Cooking for the Family. I'm Dyvonne and today I'm going to share with you how I make my breakfast burritos. We're going to be making breakfast burritos using potatoes, eggs, some chorizo. I have my salsa, cheese. I'm going to share with you how I do it. It is breakfast time and so come along with me as I cook breakfast for the family. Now, how I like to cook my potatoes for my breakfast burritos is that I like to actually microwave my potatoes. And so I'm going to put these in the microwave on my baked potato setting, and that's going to take about 9 to about 11 minutes. Now, while that's baking, we're going to get together our eggs. Now, this morning, there's 4 of us for breakfast, and so what I'm making is going to be enough for about anywhere from 4 to 6 burritos, depending on how big you want to make your burritos. Now I'm going to be scrambling 4 eggs, but for those additional burritos, you can definitely go ahead and add more eggs to your bowl and scramble those up. So for the seasoning, I like to use a little bit of kosher salt, and that's about 1/4 of a teaspoon of kosher salt. And then I'm also going to use some coarse black pepper. Now when it comes to seasoning your eggs, you can season them how I'm sharing with you how I do it. You can not season them at all, it's up to you, or you can use different types of seasoning, but I'm just using some kosher salt and some black pepper. I want to go ahead and I scramble them really good. I want to go ahead and whip them really good, make them nice and frothy, and then I'm going to set these aside and check on our baked potatoes. So our baked potatoes are out of the microwave, and this is what I do. I take a towel, you want to use a nice clean towel, and then when they come out of the microwave, I press on them to loosen up that flesh inside the baked potato. It's going to be easier when I go to scoop it out to make the breakfast burritos. And so just take your towel and just kind of push and just kind of like squeeze with your fingertips, loosen up that inside flesh. This is also how I like to do it if, I've come home, I've had a busy day, and I want to make just baked potatoes for dinner, and I'll do a side salad and we'll have some grilled chicken breast. That's one of my, quick come home go-to dinners. And putting the potatoes in the microwave to cook, they come out nice and fluffy. But the secret to that is using that towel and loosening up that flesh. For this part, I like to use my paring knife. Any flexible knife or small knife will do. And I go underneath the skin just like that and just kind of peel back that skin. And so this way I can get as much as possible of the potato that I need. Now I'm using 3 medium to large size russet potatoes, and like I mentioned, it's going to be enough for about 4 burritos, 5, 6, just kind of depending, because we're going to be mixing our chorizo with our potatoes, and I'm going to be scrambling and doing my eggs separately. And I'll share with you different ways that you can use your chorizo to make your breakfast burritos. I make them actually a few different ways. So if you're not that familiar with using or cooking with chorizo, I'll share with you a few different things that you can also make with it or use it as an ingredient for other dishes. I myself, I did not grow up eating chorizo at all. And so my husband and his family did. And so I really thank my sister-in-laws. I have wonderful sister-in-laws for them, letting me be in their kitchen and seeing and watching them over the years make some wonderful, authentic Mexican dishes. And so I was able to make those for my husband. And something else I want to share with y'all about using the potatoes in this manner. I have before just peeled and boiled the potatoes and used them like that. But what I found was when I boiled the potatoes and I would season the water with a little bit of salt, that the potatoes weren't absorbing a lot of that chorizo flavor. For some reason, it just wasn't absorbing the flavor. And so I started doing it this way, and it worked out better, and there was a better flavor that the potatoes were absorbing the chorizo. And so next what I do is after I've scooped everything out, I go ahead and I season my potatoes. So I season them with some black pepper. We're also going to season them with a little bit of garlic powder. A little bit goes a long way. You just kind of want to do it to taste. And then I also I only got a little bit of onion powder left, but we only need a little bit. And so just kind of sprinkle on a little bit. And you want to do this while your potatoes are still nice and hot. Okay, and so I use some black pepper, I use garlic powder, and I also use some onion powder. and you can do this to your taste. And then I'm also using that coarse kosher salt, and then once I put some salt on, I mix the potatoes and then I add the balance of my salt, and that was about a half a teaspoon when it comes to the coarse kosher salt. This is the pork chorizo that I'm using. It also comes in beef, so you can use either the beef or the pork. My family prefers the pork, and I'm using half of the roll. And half of the roll, it's a 9-ounce roll, so I just use half of it, and that's going to work perfectly. Now, when I first started making chorizo, I was in my mind, I was thinking it was going to stay whole like sausage for some reason. I didn't start cooking it till my husband and I, first got married. And so when I first put it in the pan and it just kind of started to like melt, and I thought, oh, something's wrong. So I like cleaned out the pan and I started over with more, and it did it again. And so I ended up calling one of my sister-in-laws, and she's like, yeah, it dissolves. That's what happens. And so then I learned, you learn as you go. And so I learned from that, and so I see now that that's what happens, that the chorizo will start to dissolve. Now, there are different brands where it stays whole like a traditional sausage, and you can cut it up. So different brands are different, kind of depending on the maker. But typically, it's going to dissolve and look like this. You're going to go ahead and you're going to let it cook, and my flame is on a medium-low flame. You're going to let this cook. It's going to reduce down a bit, and it's also going to get a little darker in color. And it doesn't take long, about maybe 5 minutes. And when it's looking like this is when you go ahead and you add in your potatoes. Now, we can also make it with chorizo and eggs. And so that would be chorizo con huevos. So you can make it like that. We're doing chorizo con papas. And so you can do it different ways. We're doing the potatoes with the chorizo. And again, you can do not with the potatoes, but you can add your scrambled eggs in there and mix it in like that. And that's pretty typical to have it like that. In addition to that, you can also put everything together, the potatoes with the chorizo, the eggs with the chorizo, and just mix it all together. And that is typically, you would find that a lot on food trucks or sometimes at a restaurant. So that's how the Mexican burritos are done when they're using the chorizo. And gently blend everything from bottom to top, rotating your ingredients until it looks like this. And this, you have your potatoes, your chorizo, it's all blended in well. Now I'm going to cook my eggs separately. I'm going to go ahead and scramble my eggs separately. Now something else that you can use your chorizo for that we have is that when I've made beans of the olla, or either when I've made refried beans. And so when I'm making my refried beans, I'll put some chorizo in my pan, let that go ahead and cook, for about that 3 minutes, 5 minutes or so. And then I add in the beans, and then I mush them together with the chorizo, and it is so good. And so we have that sometimes too. And so I also have my tortillas that I have here. I have some flour tortillas. Now, if you'd like to know how to make homemade flour tortillas, I have a video that I share with you how I learned how to make homemade flour tortillas over the years, and they come out excellent. Now, I'm not using my homemade ones this morning, but if you'd like to know how to make homemade tortillas, I will put a link to that video in the description box below, as well as I will have the list of ingredients for this video. I'll have that in the description box below for your reference. Now for my eggs, we like our eggs nice and fluffy and tender. And I'll share with you something my father taught me when I was very young about making scrambled eggs on the stove. After you've gone on and you've beat them really good, you whip them up, you put your butter in your pan, you let your pan be warm but not hot, because he was telling me that when you put them in and your pan is too hot, it toughens up your eggs. You want to take your time, move them around in your pan while you're scrambling them. Right before they're done, you want to turn off your flame, let the residual heat from your pan finish cooking your eggs. And that is how you have nice, tender, fluffy eggs. And that's something that my father taught me, and I'm pretty sure he learned that from his mom. And so that's how we have been making our scrambled eggs in our family. So I have here my tortillas, I have my eggs, I have some cheese. I'm going to put some of the chorizo and the papas on there. It is looking good. The family is all awake. Everybody's waiting for their breakfast. And this is something that I like to make this. My family enjoys going camping, and we go fishing, and we take road trips. And from when our kids were really little on up, I would make us breakfast burritos in the morning because I can just get up, make them really quick. I put the breakfast burritos, I wrap them in foil, and then everybody gets their breakfast burritos, a napkin, and we could hit the road. And so it is a wonderful breakfast to take on the road. And so this is our burrito. I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to put also a little bit of salsa on mine. I like a little bit of salsa, but that is what it's looking like. It is looking so good. I'm going to put a little bit of this salsa verde. And you can cut this recipe in half, or either you can double it depending on the crowd you're feeding. Well, this bite's for you. Go ahead and take your bite. Now I'm going to take my bite. Y'all, these breakfast burritos, you would swear you got them straight from a Mexican restaurant. Let me tell you, got to give them a try. Well, that is it for me today. I hope you enjoyed spending time with me in my kitchen this morning as I made breakfast for the family. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, don't forget to show it some love. Give it a thumbs up and click share. Share this video with a friend or family. And remember, it's always good when Dyvonne is cooking for the family. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.